Baby, let me be somebody. Baby, let me be somebody. Baby, let me be someone to you. Yeah. Baby, let me be somebody. Baby, let me be somebody. Baby, let me be someone to you. Oh, be somebody.
Alrighty, rolling take ish one.
No.
Bro, you gotta log in. Ask me again. I am Dean Marino, famous, soon-to-be, musician. I make all kinds of music, but it sort of falls under the umbrella of pop. My sound, it is bright, it is loud, it is occasionally overbearing, but it is always fun, it is always representative of who I am as a person. Some of my biggest influences musically, Billy Joel, Carly Rae Jepsen is a big one. I would also say Stevie Wonder's up there, the Jonas Brothers are up there, the 1975. And my dad, actually, is a big one. He's a musician himself, and growing up making music with him was a big part of my development as a musician and as a person. Before I came to Belmont, I was a little bit more of a timid performer, believe it or not. You know, there was a time when I was a little shyer on stage. I didn't know exactly what to do with my arms. I hid behind the piano so often. And coming to Belmont has really sort of allowed me to come out of my shell, because performing, I've gotten practice at it, I've gotten the reps in, so I've gotten better. And, you start to realize, this is something I'm good at. The audition process for Pop Showcase was a little bit hectic. You didn't know whether you had an audition until about 5 days before. And so we had to start rehearsing for the audition process before we even knew if we got an audition. I told the guys in advance, I said, look, we might not even get an audition, but if we do, we've got to be ready. And they totally understood that, because they're the best. And so we rehearsed. We found out we got an audition, and then from there it was 8-act auditions, all on Music Row in the studio. We played 2 of our songs, and we left. When I found out I was selected for Pop Showcase, I will never forget. I opened my email, I saw that I got it. I was so excited that I could not help but have a verbal response. And everybody was like, what happened? And I was giddy. I was like, you guys are dying. And everybody was super happy. It was a great moment. This performance was such a formative part of my journey here at Belmont. It helped me establish a group of world-class musicians and friends. Before this performance, I was not known by many as a performer yet. I had played keyboard for a lot of people. People have heard my songs, but not a lot of people had really seen me perform yet, because I don't do it as much as I should. The creative process for preparing for Pop Showcase started in the summer. I picked out my 3 songs, and I went into my studio at home, and I just started trying out different arrangements to figure out where they all fit, how I can vamp, who I want in the band. Once I had the general sketch of the arrangements of the songs, it was about making charts and then just rehearsing for a long time. And a lot of the charts, certain things came together during rehearsal. Other people had ideas, and everybody played such a big part in finalizing the arrangements and participating in the creative process in a really big way. Choosing the 3 songs was actually kind of tough. I knew I wanted to do Bethany, because that's my most popular song. It's how people at Belmont know me. It's like my calling card. From there, it was about what I thought would really translate live. I think I chose Somebody first because I decided I wanted horns, and I knew that Somebody was made to be live. And then I knew the opener, I needed something upbeat, and people really seemed to respond well to Digital Love, and I figured that we could do something great with that. Translating my music into a live performance setting is difficult and it's not. There's a lot of things that I feel like the songs lend themselves to. There are certain hits and moments that you accentuate that I feel like the songs in the studio version sort of hint at. From there, it's trial and error. It's rehearsing with the guys. It's seeing what works, what doesn't work, what we want to accentuate, how we want to feel tempo, how we want to feel the groove. But a lot of it comes from ideas and things of, if I heard this live, I would freak out. The biggest challenge in preparing for Pop Showcase was the rehearsal process. Scheduling rehearsals was very difficult and emotionally taxing, just because everybody at any point in the year is so busy, and we all have our own lives, we all have classes. So scheduling rehearsals was a little bit of a pain sometimes. So a typical rehearsal, when we were first learning the charts, it would be, we would just run it and rep it a bunch. And we would try out different ideas, just really get a feel for what each individual person is playing, where we all fit. You know, I would do horn sectionals sometimes. And the later we got into the process, like those last 3 rehearsals, it was just running it over and over and over again. Working with these musicians was fantastic because they're all fantastic musicians. Their intuition on the stage is great. Their presence is great. I always tell people that when you're picking your band, you know, you want good players. That's a given. But you want people who, A, are hip to the vision, and B, you want people that you know are gonna have your back. Working with them, you know, brought out the best in these tunes because their ideas musically were fantastic and their musicianship just really, it's powerful. And I think working with them as people was also fantastic, and we bonded so much. What I want the audience to feel when I perform, just pure, unadulterated fun and energy and vibrancy. I think the trick is I always want the audience to be on the same page that I am at. And so if you're having fun on stage, the audience will have fun with you. Each individual song has its own message. So when I'm crafting a performance like Pop Showcase, and it's sort of all conceptually flowing from Digital Love to Bethany to Somebody, for me, the performance like that, it's all about love. I want the audience to feel like there's a lot of love in that room. Right before I stepped on stage, it was bliss and it was excitement. Were there a little nerves? Yes. You know, that's natural. You want some nerves because it means you care, and I cared so very deeply. But I knew at that point that we had done the work. Being on that stage felt like flying. And it's so short. You know, you're on there for a blip before you're done, and you're like, what the hell just happened? During Somebody, there was an audience sing-along section. I could hear them. That's a feeling that I'm never gonna forget. And so coming off the stage, I was so content. And I was a little bummed that it was over. I didn't want to leave, but more than that, I was just super happy about it. There's a Maya Angelou quote where she says, when you're making a speech or you're writing a book or you're singing a song, people aren't gonna remember what you're saying. They're gonna remember how you made them feel. I want people to remember how they felt. I want them to remember the fun and the energy and the excitement. It takes a lot of work, and it takes a village. It takes a lot of people. And I think it translated, and it's really taught me that, you know, if you want something, you gotta work for it. But in the same capacity, if you work really hard, it's gonna happen. And when I perform, I don't care if it's 5 people, I don't care if it's 5,000 people. they're gonna get the best damn show they've ever seen, if I have anything to say about it, because that's what they deserve for being there. Post performing at this showcase, I would love to play more around town in Nashville. What's next for me is a lot of performances. It's a lot of writing and recording. It's a lot of work. That's what I've got on the docket right now, is a lot of work. And I'm so excited for all of it, because if it pays off in the same way that the work for Pop Showcase paid off, then it's gonna pay off in a really big way. Music is all about the people you share it with. If there were no people on earth, I wouldn't have a single song to sing. We owe it to each other to share what we love, and what I love is music. So yeah.